think it's really important as well to, something you mentioned in that was it can change. So you may have gone into this, like we've been in it over a good 10, 15, 20 years collectively. And that, where we first started was very different to where we are now, because you do naturally grow and you do naturally start to love different things. And you realise that, so like even for me, I would say that my training business was very heavy on the practical side of it initially. And now we've moved away from it completely, because since I've become a parent and I was more time focused on the kids, I had to, or rather I wanted to change the business model to accommodate the busy lifestyle. And I thought, you know what, in order to do that, I'm going to just change, or rather my passion started going a bit off on a tangent in looking more at the knowledge side of it rather than the practical. So I just started going, okay, how can I attract clients and that want to understand more about why their dogs do these behaviours, and little things that they can implement that form part of a busy lifestyle, so you're not actively having to do anything. So it's not fixing a problem as such, it's working through a journey and a plan and almost like a little bit of a therapy session. So I leaned into the pain points that I think a lot of people in training industry have about being a therapist and all of that. I leaned into it because I found I quite enjoyed that bit. I quite enjoyed the psychology side of it, and I quite enjoyed pulling marriages and couples back together when they're sat on opposite ends of the sofa going like, fucking dog. I enjoyed it, so I lent into it and was like, ooh, okay, I'm doing it for the love of dogs, but I'm doing it in a way that actually better suits me now.
And you're making big changes by you being the person that instigates those conversations as well. So it's down to them to sort it out between themselves, but you're the one going, this is what needs to change. This is, you either need to change or the dog needs to change, and or you come in and meet in the middle, and you're the person that's instigating that. And I think that is massively helping the dog, the owner, all those, basically all those things in the poll you're doing, but you're just not doing it in the way that I don't think a lot of people would see would be the way that they would work, for example. But it's interesting.
It is interesting. And like I said, for me, I love it because I do love dogs, but then arguably you could still say I have got a bit of imposter syndrome when it comes to the practicality of training dogs, because I'm not as hands-on as I ever used to be. And even after we'd spoken to Jo Rosie, I was thinking, my God, if I ever had to train a dog in front of her, no chance would I. All those imposter feelings would come back in. But then I was like, well, actually, it's my choice to have gone down the education side of it. And I love it. I love my job. I love being able to talk to people, but I've lent into the things that interested me to best benefit the dog, instead of trying to force myself to do all of this practical stuff, which clearly after 10 years just doesn't seem to be my bag. But why should I not be able to call myself a dog trainer nonetheless when, okay, it's just a different angle of coming at it, and it's open and honest from marketing and public point of view. They know what they're buying from me.
And let's be honest, you're an amazing trainer, but your head and your focus is more on something slightly different than it is on that practical side. And what one person's skill set might be, or their passion might be more for, is not what the next person's is anyway. And, you know, coming back to the business side, when I started my business, I had no clue about a business. What? So I really want to go out and help people, and I really want to do all this preventative stuff. And I started with puppies. But, oh God, I've actually got to do all these other things. I've got to keep my accounts. I've got to, you know, I've got to be admin. I've got to like make sales. I've got to do all these things, or bookings myself. And it's kind of like that gets pushed to the wayside, and all your focus is these people, these dogs. I need to help them. I need to help them. And actually your business kind of, it almost like trails along behind it. And if I'd have looked at it like I look at it now, I could have had, I mean, I don't regret where I came from and where I am, because I don't think I'd be where I am now if I hadn't done that. But at the same time, like, it would have been really nice to have that guidance and go, just because, like we've had a message off somebody this afternoon just saying there isn't enough dog-focused business advice out there. But that's great, but that's what we're aiming to do. But at the same time, like, general business advice is still applicable to the dog industry. Yeah. So we don't always have to kind of compartmentalize it. But, you know, we're here because we feel like a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
And they can't look outside of the industry to get help. So I guess to have we've been there, we've done that, we've got the T-shirt, and we now want to teach you this way because we feel like our lives are just so more enriched. Yes. As well as all the dogs' lives we've enriched as well. But it's that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's that whole, just bringing it back, that love of dogs on that pole is so overwhelmingly high that I know for a fact that nobody is looking, like you've just said, elsewhere to get any support. And the business does kind of just trail along behind you. And it's almost like, well, where the hell do you start then? So do you start off being a sole trader? Do you just trade and not bank anything? Like how do you even take payments? One bugbear of mine. Every business and tradespeople really annoy me with this. Why is it not possible for everybody to just pay by card? We're in a world now where credit cards are a must. So you could potentially be turning work down by only making a bank transfer available to people. Pay the bloody fees on a system. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things.
Which you can pass on to your clients.
Yes.
It doesn't have to
pass
be you
it on
that takes the
and
hit.
make it easy for the person to buy off of you.
And also safe, you know, if you're with a provider that uses, you know, it's got safe ways of paying for things, people are going to go, oh, they must be legit because they've got, you know, PayPal or they've got Stripe or they've got GoCard or whatever it is that you use. And so it also gives that peace of mind and professionalism as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.